Hey, so I built a somewhat of an integration to show you guys how you can manage odometers, automation around scheduling oil changes, things like that. So let me first describe to you the workflow. So here, I understand Samsara is being used as the repository to store all of the data that is associated with the vehicles or the fleet of the company. So I'm assuming that, right, there's a database there, all of that information lives there, it's being updated in real time. Uh, and of course, what we need to do is we need to get that data to interact with Odoo somehow, right? And the objective is to update the odometer in Odoo, to track oil changes in Odoo, and of course, to create notifications in Odoo for the maintenance team so that they can take action and schedule oil changes in a timely and proactive manner. So let's take a walk through this. So you have all of your vehicles here. All of the data is fed into Samsara. Now, as action is taken in Samsara, right? So, for example, an action could be the odometer is updated, or the a maintenance ticket is resolved. It could be anything. I mean, so the for example, odometer is updated. That is an action. On action, we set it up in Samsara to trigger a webhook. And the webhook is essentially a payload of data. It looks like this down here, right? And this payload of data is triggered every time, for example, the odometer is updated and it's sent to a destination. In this case, it's on my computer, and it's sending a package, and this package contains information, and this is how the information is stored in JSON format. So you have, right, in my example, I just have three distinct fields. I have a field called license plate, in its example 12345. I have an odometer reading that comes from Samsara. It's probably not 22,000 exactly. It could be any number. And of course, I store a value called last oil change, which in this case it's 16,000. And as that oil is changed, the we'll take the odometer reading at that time. We'll update that field last oil change to be the odometer reading at the time of the oil change, and that is how it will. And that's how it will live until the next oil change. So that information is packaged. It's sent. Again, it's sent over to a custom module that I created, where essentially we do some mapping, and then that feeds the data into Odoo. And the outcome is very simple. We're updating fields in real time, specifically the odometer field, the last oil change field, and if applicable, we're creating an activity automatically in order to schedule the last oil change, the next oil change. And yeah, and that's happening every 5,000 miles. So let's take a look at how this works. So I go to fleet and I will, let's look at an existing vehicle. I have this Tesla Model 3, license plate 98765. Current odometer reading is 12,000 and last oil change 5. It's a brand new vehicle. Now let's go and simulate the JSON package that I would get from Samsara, right? So this is what it would look like. And it's, again, focus on this. So you have three fields. We have the last oil change, which reads 5. We have the field odometer, which reads 1200. And then I have my license plate, right? And we're just sending three different fields over from Samsara. And those are the fields that we need. One, we need the license plate to identify the vehicle that we want to make the vehicle that we want to apply these changes to. The odometer reading gives us the most recent odometer reading, and the oil change gives us the recent oil change. So let's do some updates. Let's change this to 4,084, and let's leave the last oil change at 5. And I run it, and it pushes it. It tells me everything has been right. Your odometer has been successfully updated. New odometer reading, and the vehicle the ID that was updated is 2. So when we go over into Odoo and I refresh, you'll see in real time my new odometer reading is 4,084 and my last oil change is 5. Guess what? There is not a discrepancy of 5,000 between these two numbers, so I don't see any activity created. A discrepancy would be 4,005. I'm sorry, 5,005. Let's do one more test to see how this works, and let's actually just do 5,004, and let's see what happens. That's 50,004. 5,004, and we refresh, still no activity. And now let's do 5,005. And here you will see the activity is automatically created when we jump back into Odoo. just like that, it tells me the vehicle needs an oil change. Current odometer is 5,005. Last oil change is 5. So what we would do in this case is you'd do your maintenance. You'd mark it as done. In Samsara, you'd probably update, your last oil change to 5,005. And in real time, that information would again update live in Odoo. And of course, when we go 5,000 miles into the future and we're at 10,005, when we run that, it will once again create the next action for our maintenance team to do what they need to do, which in this case is to do an oil change. So long and short of it, it's definitely a proof of concept. Obviously, I don't have a Samsara uh, I don't have a Samsara sandbox in order to simulate this, but based on the API documentation, it looks like it does webhooks. It looks like the data that it pushes out of Samsara via a webhook is in JSON format. And as long as we point that webhook to a relevant URL where we can be where the script can be listening for that webhook, we will be good, because once the webhook is heard, the script will run, and this script will take care of everything that needs to be taken care of in Odoo, and it'll just continue to listen 24/7 in real time for any updates coming from Samsara via webhook, and it will take action as needed. Hopefully this gives you guys an idea of how an integration can be built. If you have any questions at all, happy to elaborate further. But yeah, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.